Are y'all ready? It's time. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Moments with Mama Sue. I'm Mama Sue Roseberry, and what a pleasure it is to get to be with you all on tonight. It's been such an amazing month already. We are in the middle of Black History Month, so happy Black Heritage Month to everyone. It's good to see you. Shout out to some of the first persons on the program tonight, to Lori and Frederick. It's good to see you. I was sitting up today and thinking about how fortunate I have been to be able to have this platform for almost 3 years. Y'all, we are working on a 3-year anniversary for Moments with Mama Sue, and it's only because you all are so kind and you're so generous and so sweet. You tune in with us and we get an opportunity to interact with you. And I always say that connecting with you is the best part of my day. I look so forward to it. I really do. So it doesn't seem like it, but you've heard that old adage, time flies when you're having fun. So I guess time is really flying because I am having a great time on Moments with Mama Sue. And the opportunity to introduce some wonderful people I know to some other wonderful people that I know has just been such a thrill, such a wonderful thrill for me. Well, I want to give a shout out to all of the watchers on WJIL.today that tune in on Gospel Radio, Roku, and Firestick TV. Thank you so much to Pastor Patty Harris and to all of the WJIL.today family for allowing Moments with Mama Sue to be a part of that platform. And on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 3 a.m., 10 a.m., and 8 o'clock p.m., you can see replays of some of our content from Moments with Mama Sue. And it's worth seeing again because we have some fantabulous guests and we only bring the very, very best. So I want to shout out to WJIL.today listeners, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in with Moments with Mama Sue and listening to what we're talking about, seeing what we're talking about, seeing what we have going on. And I want to say to all of you that are watching in real time, thank you for tapping in right now. And then, of course, to all of you who watching replay, you got something else going on right now. And so you have to catch it later, whether it's on YouTube or on my Facebook page. I appreciate you watching and telling me what you're thinking about it and all of those things. I absolutely love it. I love it, Albert Reed. I love it. And I love having you all tune in. Well, let me tell you about a few things that I have coming up. And of course, I love having you all roll along with me. So if there's an opportunity for a face-to-face meetup or even a virtual something other, I sure do want to get an opportunity to interact with you. On tomorrow, as you know, it will be the first Tuesday of the month, and I'll be at the Southeast Senior Center here in Midland, America, where we always get together and sing inspirational music. And y'all, some people said, Mama Sue, I didn't know you could play. Child, I be really on that curling. I be on that curling. I really get it on and we enjoy it so much. So those of you who are here in the Midland area, come on over to the Southeast Senior Center at 1803 Indiana and join us. We'll be there at 10 o'clock a.m. every first and third Tuesday of the month. And then if you just can't join us in person, you can tune in and on my Facebook page, Mama Sue Roseberry, around 10:30-ish, we go live and you'll get a chance to interact with us and comment. And we absolutely love that. I mean, it is the most fun. And sometimes, y'all, people even send in requests. Yes, they do. They send in requests to hear certain hymns or certain traditional songs, and we honor that whenever we can because it is such a fabulous thing. And I never go to that particular sing along when I don't leave feeling just elevated in my thinking, inspired, excited, and energized by all of the vivacious elderly people who are there. So I look forward to that. Hey, Janice, it's good to have you on tonight. Listen, we have so much going on. And then I want you all to continue to come on and roll with me. Let me tell you what I've got going on. You can catch me live during the month of February. Of course, tonight I put on that we're having Tonisha Harris as my special guest, and she was season 18. That's a typo. She was actually season 18 runner-up for NBC's The Voice. And then on tomorrow, after the sing-along, I'll be rolling over to Odessa, America, where I will be at UTPB for a read-in event at 12 noon. I will be the keynote speaker, and I am looking forward to that. I'm going to share some African American folklore and stories and talk about how the dramatization of these stories goes along with our culture and all of that. And so I invite you to come over to UTPB, to the Mesa building. I believe it's on the second floor of that building, and that's where I will be at 12 noon on tomorrow. And then on the 9th of February, I will be part of a Black History celebration for San Jacinto Junior High School. And I'm going to present a monologue at that particular event. I won't tell you all about it. You just have to come out and be surprised. Come out and see what I have going on. I'm so excited that they invited me. Every opportunity that I get to showcase what I'm interested in and passionate about with young people, that's a win for me. That is a win for me. And then after that, let me tell you, I will be going on to the GMWA National Board meeting in Dallas, Texas. That's going to be a big event where all of the GMWA planners, the movers and shakers are coming to the Lone Star State, and we will be meeting and planning our national convention that will take place in July. But we will be in Dallas, and that GMWA National Board meeting will have a welcome musical on the 21st of February. And the musical is going to feature Charisma Evans as a special guest. It will also have the Dallas chapter GMWA, the Dallas chapter CAD, Mount Rose Sanctuary Choir, Marcus Moore, and Chosen Generation. And then who is that I see on there? Mama Sue Roseberry. Yes, I will be there and I will be singing and sharing as part of that welcome musical. Christy Tillman, Jimmy Wyatt will also be there. And then also appearing will be Carl Long and the Liturgical Alliance. It's going to be a fabulous evening of worship and fellowship, and you don't want to miss it. And if you have never heard the Charisma Evans, let me tell you, she is a powerhouse vocalist from Houston, Texas, and she will be there ministering in song, and we're just going to have a great time. So I invite you to come and hope you will be there. And then on the 23rd, I will be at the Peace Communications and Technology Academy at 6 o'clock p.m. for their Black History program. And I am looking so forward to that. These are all opportunities to showcase the gifts and the talents that the Lord has allowed me to have. And I do not mind. I love doing it. And let me tell you, if you are someone who would like to have me come, I'll come where you are. We can make it happen because that's what I really, really enjoy doing. And then on the very last Saturday of this month, the Midland Storytelling Festival, I am the executive director for that event, will be having a collaboration event with the Museum of the Southwest in a fabulous celebration of Black History Month here in Midland at the Museum of the Southwest. And it is going to be No Ways Tired. It's going to feature story expressed in 3 different ways. We're having a nationally acclaimed storyteller, Tony Simmons, who comes from Houston, Texas, as well as the West Texas chapter of the Gospel Music Workshop of America, and LaDanya Scott. So you'll see stories expressed in 3 unique artistic ways: in the spoken word, in gospel music from the choir, and then in interpretive dance. So you don't want to miss it. It's a free event because we have some fabulous sponsors who have generously contributed to make this available to our community. But because there is limited seating, you have to go to Eventbrite and get your limited seating free admission tickets. Okay, so you can do that. Go to nowaystired.eventbrite.com. That's on the flyer, nowaystired.eventbrite.com. And if you go to my Facebook page or even the Midland Storytelling Festival Facebook page, that information is there as well for you to be able to know how to access your tickets. And if you're somebody who says, you know what, Mama Sue, I do not know how to do technology and I can't do all of that, well, then just contact me and I will set you up with a admission because we want you to be there. We want the house to be filled as we have this wonderful inspirational program. This will be the second time that we have done a program of this type. Last year, it was fabulous. And this year, if you missed it last year, you don't want to miss it. If you made it last year, you want to make sure that you make it again because it is going to be absolutely wonderful. Well, let me tell you, I have the sad news of telling you that Tonisha is not going to make it tonight because there's an airline glitch. Is anybody beside me tired of the airlines? I don't know what's going on and why they can't get it right, but she is stuck in New York and had to contact me just before program time, telling me she wouldn't be able to be on with us tonight, but she will reschedule and we'll have her at another time. However, I do have something that I want to share with you all, and I want you to stay tuned because we'll be talking about it right after this.
It's beyond entertainment. It's an experience. Book Mama Sue Roseberry today.
That is worthy.
Listen, I would love to come with you all. And so all you have to do is contact me and on my way, and then we can work it out. Well, since it's Black History Month, I thought that we could amplify and talk about some things that I'm passionate about in connection with Black History Month. So we're going to do a segment that I don't get to do very often because I usually have guests on and I don't always get to express it. But tonight, we're going to talk about, so what you think, Mama Sue? So what you think? Let me tell you what I think about African American history. I think that it is an opportunity for us to showcase what has been done by individuals who have been left out of the history books. When I was in service on this past Sunday, the pastor was speaking about how history is honest. History is honest, and many things that sometimes individuals want to gloss over and leave out, and it's not written about, it's not spoken about, but it is still there. It's part of the history. And so as we talk about African history or Black history, it is American history. It's about the role that African Americans have played in developing this country. Now, could you imagine that many of the things, of the innovative, creative things that African Americans have done have been left out as though we didn't create them, as though we didn't make it happen. But let me tell you, the role that we have played is so monumental. There is a saying that says necessity is the mother of invention. And when I think about that term, I think about African American history because our ancestors, our elders, needed to create things to improve the quality of their life or to make life just a little bit easier, because it was hard. Don't get it twisted. It was hard. Could you imagine having to bend your back and scrub floors for hours on end? And if you had to do that, then ingenuity might help you to create something that you could screw in on the end of a broomstick or a handle so that it would spare your back a little bit. Uh-huh. Yeah. And not only that, but all of the other inventions that came into being that helped us to have a better quality of life, a better existence, or to use things that were cast off by others that were not considered important, but we took them and made delicacies out of them. They took the roots of the yams or the sweet potatoes that were fed to the swine, to the hogs. They took that and turned that into a delicacy. And baby, candied yams or candied sweet potatoes or sweet potato pie, mm-hmm, it was created. They took the innards, the intestines, the chitterlings. They washed them, they seasoned them, they cooked them up and made a delicacy, as they did with so many other things. The ingenuity of our culture is beyond comprehension. And let me tell you somewhere where I love, absolutely love to go, and that is to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness. I had an opportunity to go and I spent 4 days going through the museum and seeing the innovative and creative things from our culture, for everything that exists in our lives, from our hair, the products created by Madam C.J. Walker and others that were used to style hair that had a mind of its own, to all of the innovative and creative things that are going on. Listen, rap, artistry, in entertainment, music, engineering, medical science, whatever it is, it's all there. So let me tell you, you are part of something that is phenomenal and really big. I was going through looking at some things about African American culture and Black History Month, and I came across this little saying that I want to share with you. It said, write, you write, like Maya. Inspire, you inspire, like Obama. Think, oh, you think, like Garvey. Educate, uh-huh, you educate, like W.E.B. Fight, oh yeah, you fight, like Malcolm. Lead, yes, you lead, like Harriet. Dream, oh, dream, like Martin. Build, you build, like Madam C.J. Speak, you speak, like Frederick. Challenge, you challenge, like Rosa. Believe, you believe, like Thurgood. Make an impact where you are, like only you can. Because did you know that you are Black history? You, I'm talking about you, Janice. and Tina and Lori and Frederick and Gerard and Louise and everybody. You are Black history. Everything that you are doing, where you are, is having an impact. Sometimes we think that what we're doing is small and inconsequential because it may not be written about in the history books. Maybe TMZ is not breaking our door down and nobody is racing toward us saying, oh, let me talk about how wonderful you are. But you are making an impact with every life that you touch, with what is going on in your neighborhood, with what is going on in your churches, in your community organizations, in your civic organizations, and you have a voice and an opportunity. You are Black history. Someone will be able to look at the contributions that you have made and be able to say that that person moved the marker just a little bit further in a positive direction. Maybe you're taking care of your grandchildren. You are Black history. Because without you being there to care for them and to nurture them and see about them, they would not have the compassionate care that you are providing. Maybe you're a teacher. There will be countless individuals in the classroom who are looking at you as a role model for an individual that represents well our culture. Everywhere that I go, I'm aware that I am a representative, not only of my family, not only of myself, but also of my culture. Because I come in contact with people in lots of different places. Have any of you that are watching the show tonight had the experience of being an only? And by only, I mean the only Black person in a particular environment, the only African American who was part of a specific group or invited to a particular function. Lots of times I've been an only. But in those instances, I recognize that it's an opportunity for me to shine and to let them know that I'm just one of many. Because we're standing on the shoulders of so many people. You may be the only banker, the only executive, the only secretary, the only teacher, the only substitute, wherever you are. But whatever it is that you're doing, you are Black history. And there is a rhythm, there's something that comes with you into the space where you are that you cannot deny. It's just on you. That, you get to be it by virtue of the fact that God created you to look like and be like you are. And don't be ashamed of that fact. Own that. I can remember being a little girl growing up and we were ashamed of our kinky hair. It didn't cooperate and it didn't behave, and thank God for those little round pots of Royal Crown hair grease that we used to grease our scalp with and apply to the hair, and then we get the pressing comb, that you put on the stove. And it's nothing like the aroma, the smell of hair. And we press our hair. We did so many things because we wanted to assimilate. And in some ways, we were made to feel as though our essence of who we were was not good enough, that we weren't pretty enough, that our hair wasn't straight enough, that we were too curvaceous, that our skin was too dark, that our dialect or the way we spoke was too different to be inclusive or included in what was going on. So assimilation became a mode of operandi. It became the way that we tried to fit in. But somewhere along the way, in the 1960s came the Black Power movement. Now, there were a lot of moving pieces associated with that, please believe me, because I was a product of the 60s and I remember there were people who were angry, who were pushing an agenda. And then there were other people who were saying nonviolent approach, and others who were saying we shouldn't be doing all this marching. But over the years, the spectrum and the feeling about our Blackness and who we are and what we are changed. And it went from feeling like an outcast to feeling like we had something that we needed to be proud of. We had something that we needed to own up to and be glad about and be ecstatic about, because we had something that everybody didn't have. And that was given to us by our Creator. We can't deny that there's rhythm in the way we talk. There's rhythm in the way we walk. There's an ambiance. There's a something about the way that we sing and the music that we bring, the melodies. There is something that has been given to us that is so special. And I would that every child that is part of the African American culture would recognize that they have something that is worthy of celebrating. But not only worthy of celebrating, they have something to live up to, because people died so that we could have the rights that we have. People suffered so that we could have the opportunities that we have. And since they did, I want to make them proud. I want to make our elders and our ancestors proud of the fact that they gave so much of themselves so that I would have an opportunity to exist in this world without feeling less than. That I have an opportunity to exist in this world and feel like I am somebody, because God created me to be that. And so I encourage you, as we go through this month, as you're studying about other innovative creators and the history of African Americans in these United States, that you would consider that you have a part in that amazing history. That somehow or another, your life and where you are and what you have done, your job, your contributions, your family lineage, it has a part, and it's woven into the tapestry of our world and our existence, because we are who we are, because God created us to be so. I want you to feel proud of what you possess and what you bring to the table. And right after this, I'm going to share a story with you that I hope that you will enjoy. Stay tuned. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Miss Annie from way down south. She's loud, she's fun, but you'd better watch out. Put on your seatbelt and take the rollicking ride with the unpredictable Miss Annie as she whips and turns and drives straight into your heart. Own it today at www.sueroseberry.com. Yes, indeed. The story that I want to share with you is about the summer that I became a woman. It was the summer of my 10th year. Every summer growing up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as soon as school was out, we got an opportunity to go and visit my grandparents who lived in East Texas. They lived in Mount Pleasant, Texas. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know where it is, that's in East Texas in the Piney Woods, Titus County. My mother would load us up in our old red Galaxie, and she would always fix a lunch for us. Now, we were too young to understand it at the time, but fried chicken was a necessary part of the whole experience. She always fried chicken and it smelled so good. And she would wrap it up in wax paper and Reynolds wrap. And then she would boil some eggs. And sometimes you buy a few bags of Fritos corn chips, not potato chips. We had corn chips. And she always baked a 7-Up pound cake and would slice it and wrap it. Then we would have water and she'd have a thermos of coffee. We'd load up in the Galaxie and off we would go toward Mount Pleasant, Texas. Now, when it came time for us to stop and eat, we'd stop by the roadside at one of the roadside parks. And for us, we thought everybody was doing this. It was the most fun thing in the whole world. We'd jump out and we'd get out so we could eat our lunch, and the trucks would come by and we'd pump our arm up and down and the trucks would go brum, brum. As they went down the road, we'd wave and we thought, oh, nobody is having a better time than we are on our trip to visit our grandparents. We'd get to Mount Pleasant and we could hardly wait to get there and see all of our friends. They had exotic names, nicknames like Bubba Goose and Gladys Ann and Frog Finley. I mean, these were people, real nicknames. And when we got down there, they said that we were talking proper. Just because we didn't speak quite as slow maybe, or with the same kind of East Texas drawl that they had in Mount Pleasant. Well, we loved going because at nighttime we could get jars and catch fireflies. We could play in the road there outside my grandmother's house from sunup to sundown. We could run all around the neighborhood and have the best time going up and down the street to Miss Harkrider's store, buying penny candy and doing all kinds of fun things with our friends. But on the summer of my 10th year, my grandmother had a different thought in her mind. And she decided that summer, as her only granddaughter, it was time for me to become a woman. Well, her idea of becoming a woman meant to teach me something that I didn't know how to do. And Granny's plan was to teach me how to piece a quilt. That hit with all of the wonderful enthusiasm that you can imagine. I was not studying about piecing no quilt. I wanted to go outside and play. I wanted to play freeze tag and Red Rover and all of the things that we were playing. But no, 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 no. Granny said, no, ma'am, you're going to sit in here, and every day, almost at the crack of dawn, soon as we got through finished with breakfast and the boys would rush outside to play, I would have to sit at that little table in her kitchen. And she got out fabric scraps from her sewing and a little cardboard square that I had to use as a pattern for cutting out other squares so that I could make a 9-patch pattern for a quilt. Well, I wasn't very happy about it. It showed all over my face. Granny would say, come on in here and let's put these stitches in this 9-patch. And she showed me how to get a little bitty thin needle and a little tin metal thimble that you put on the end of your finger so you wouldn't poke it with the needle. And I try to put stitches in and it would look like great big basting stitches. And Granny would say, oh, no ma'am, take that out. I was unhappy about it. I could hear my brothers and my friends outside playing and having a wonderful time while Granny had me sitting there sewing, trying to make a 9-patch quilt. Each day, she would tell me stories about her life when she was growing up. Sometimes she would tell me little adages that she had learned over her life, and she would say, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. And she'd say, I'll give you a penny for your thoughts, a dime if they're worth something. Sometimes she would say, do you know what it means to rain cats and dogs? Then she would say, every tub got to sit on its own bottom. And then she would say, whatever you do, try not to be dumb. Oh my goodness. I listened to those adages. And Granny would even talk about how she had reared my mother. Then the stories started getting good, y'all, because she told me that my mother was not the angel that she had professed herself to be. She talked about some of the disciplinary action she had to take with Aline Jones, and that was something that I was interested in hearing. Not only that, but she went on to talk about how she had learned how to cook and how she had learned how to sew by herself. And then Granny talked about something that she said had been painful for her, that she had never had an opportunity to go to school and learn how to read. And then she said that she prayed and she prayed. And she asked the Lord to teach her how to read. And Granny said that she opened the Bible and the Lord began to whisper in her ear how those words that she was looking at might sound. And she claimed that the Lord taught her how to read, and I believed it. Then Granny would share songs with me because she had a beautiful voice. Granny would share songs like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Ooh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, Granny had lots of songs that she taught me. One of the songs, and I'm sure she made it up, said, It went like this. I got 6 months to mind my own business. The other 6 I'll leave yours alone. I've got 6 long months to mind my own business. The other 6 I'll leave yours alone. Well, if you pay attention and if you're not nosy, God will be smiling on the throne. I've got 6 long months to mind my own business. The other 6 to leave yours alone. Now I know my granny made up that song, but somehow or another, as the summer weeks passed by, I didn't mind so much that I didn't get to go outside and play freeze tag. I didn't mind so much that I wasn't running back and forth to Miss Harkrider's store or catching fireflies. I got pretty good at sewing with that little thin quilting needle. And I didn't have to keep picking out big basting stitches. I got pretty good at it. And I managed to make enough 9-patch squares to actually make a quilt. Oh, we pieced them together, and there was nobody in the whole wide world who was prouder of themselves than I was. Toward the end of the summer, my mother returned to pick us up. And when she came in the house, I ran to show her, look what I made. Look at this quilt that I made. She looked at it and she laughed and she said, oh, so it was your turn to become a woman. She remembered my grandmother painstakingly sitting her down and trying to teach her how to do some of those things that she thought might be a necessary life skill. Well, Granny taught me that and so much more. Over the course of my life, I have remembered all of those songs. I've even remembered all of those old adages, and from time to time, I've even shared them with my own children. When they've gotten into situations where they felt frustrated and wanted to make a change in their lives, I would remind them, hold on. Now don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I knew what it meant then. Sometimes when they were frustrated and looking for someone else to blame or be accountable or depend on somebody else instead of putting their best foot forward, I would remind them, hey, every tub has to sit on its own bottom, meaning you got to be responsible for yourself. And then there were times when I would maybe indicate to them, hey, whatever you do, try not to be dumb. You know, life is filled with lessons. It's filled with stories. It's filled with opportunities. And I've known since that time that I needed to learn how to mind my own business. And I do that. I spend 6 months minding my own business and the other 6 leaving other people's business alone. My grandmother taught me that during the summer that I became a woman. And there are stories I'm sure that you have about your life, about your heritage. It takes me back to the opening statement that I made earlier. You are Black history. Share your stories. Tell your story. Tell people where you came from, how you got to where you are. Talk about your triumphs. Talk about your trials and how you got over. because all of those lessons, all of those stories are part of our history. And that's what we are celebrating during the month of February. I want to thank you all for tuning in with me tonight and for sharing with me in this little offbeat style scenario or programming for tonight, because it's interesting to me that when life throws us a little curveball sometime, we get to decide how we're going to adjust and what we're doing. So I want to encourage you, whatever curveballs life is throwing your way, you just roll with the punches. Learn how to pivot and learn how to do something different. Tanisha wasn't able to be with us tonight, but she will be rescheduled and you'll see where she'll be with us coming up. I want to thank you. Shout out to Frederick. Oh, I like your profile picture, Frederick. Shout out to you and to Lori Williams, to Loris. Thank you so much for being here. To Evelyn, thank you, Evelyn, for being with us. She said it's been a while, but I'm so glad. Oh, I love that, Evelyn. This tub is sitting on its own bottom. This one is too, and I have learned to be responsible for me and trying to be the very best me that I can be. Thank you, Frederick. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I want you all to share with others and let them know that Moments with Mama Sue can be seen and replayed. And then I want to encourage you all to do something for me. I have a little over 400 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I would love, 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 love. I would love it if you all would go over to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and look up Sue Roseberry. It'll be the one with my name, and it'll have a little musical note beside it, letting you know that is the correct channel. And subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I need you to invite somebody else. Bring along a friend, call somebody, use your influence and say, hey, I need you to help me to help a friend. Help me to help Mama Sue with her numbers. So you can do that. And that will help me to increase my subscriber base. February is a short month. So I would love for you all to help me increase my subscriber base to 500 by the end of February. I think it's possible, don't you? I think it's possible. So if you're not already a subscriber, please just go over there and subscribe. Gerard is saying hit the like button. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Bernie Mac, for being here tonight. I'm glad that you were able to tune in. Go over to YouTube and hit that like button. And then that little bell, the little red part down there, then subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, and you'll be among the first if you click on the bell, which will let them notify you whenever I am posting new content. And that will make me so, so, so happy. I thank you all for being here today. Please be sure to like and share so we can grow our audience. And if you like what I'm doing and feel like what I'm doing is worthwhile, I want you to continue to tune in. And then you can contribute via Cash App at $Sue Roseberry. $Sue Roseberry. And if Cash App is not your thing and you prefer to do it by Venmo, you can do that at Sue-Roseberry-1 at Sue-Roseberry-1 on Venmo. And everything that you're contributing helps me to do more and helps me to do better. And if that neither of those is a way that you want to contribute and you say, child, I just write checks, guess what? I still do it too because I'm old school. So you can mail your check to P.O. Box 51422, Midland, Texas 79710. Thank you all so much for your love. Thank you for your support. February is my birthday month too, y'all. Ooh. And for my birthday, I'm going to be sharing with you something new that I'm going to be doing. I've been talking about it a while, about a subscribership and some other things, and I'm finally getting ready to roll it out for real, for real. So don't miss the next episode of Moments with Mama Sue so you can find out all about that. And we'll be doing an on the road Moments with Mama Sue from the National GMWA board meeting, and I'll be sharing new information about what I got going on and all kinds of stuff. So you guys be sure to tune in. Thank you so much. I love you all so very much, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next episode of Moments with Mama Sue. Woo! Now that's what I call a great show. Woo! We out of here. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Ah, now we can do it a little better than that. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh, well, all right, come on with it. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Oh. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh, wait. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Moments with Mama Sue. Never know what to expect. Hey. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Moments, yeah. Well, now we might be done a little bit too much.